Let it begin!
Jerks! Shame! Jerks!
The jerk list.
The IC's all. There's too many jerks.
That's what I love about
Jerk!
the jerk list.
A severe penalty for being a jerk.
You're a jerk!
The jerk list.
Jerks! Jerks! What an outrage. Shame!
What a jerk.
You're a jerk!
The jerk
There's
list.
too many jerks.
The jerk list.
Judge rules! Jerk!
Balls. Anyway, listen, as I say each and every week, remember this, jerks and creeps of the world. When you find your name on this list and you feel the Han Solo Edition blaster hitting you in the backside of your soul, guess what? I didn't do it to you. You did this to you. So don't get angry with me. Take a look at the man or the woman in the mirror and ask them what went wrong. I'm just doing the righteous thing. I am like Sauron atop my tower, hunting down the jerks and the creeps, except not for evil bidding like Sauron in Lord of the Rings. Mine is to make the world a better place. All right, first and foremost, as we went out to commercial there, I mentioned Mike Vick very well, may show up on the list. Take a listen to his comments. I think it was last night he was cheered by a crowd in spite of the fact that he's apparently been running some dogfighting rings out of his house. And he was asked, is he surprised that the fans would still cheer for him? Here's what he said.
Hey, Mike, what do you think about the reaction from the fans in there tonight?
Oh, it was a good reaction. It's supposed to be positive. You know, they're supposed to be cheering for us, man.
Are you concerned at all that your image has been tarnished a little, or do you feel like that reaction shows that you still got support?
Man, I still got support everywhere I go. All around the world, people still support Mike Vick. So, regardless of what I go through, people going to love me, man. You know, it's all good. I ain't worried about that. My job is to win football games.
In the end, will you be exonerated?
Man, no comment.
Well, again, you know, my prediction is, my hypothesis is that he probably doesn't know what exonerated means, so it's hard for him to really answer that question accurately one way or the other. But, you know, it's all good. That's what he said. Mike Vick, either way, whether he's been having dog fights or not, if he gets convicted or not, if, you know, or if he gets exonerated, it's all good. That's what he said. So listen, Mike Vick, if you're having dog fighting or for not knowing what exonerate means, you this week are our first jerk. All right, also your buddy, Clinton Portis there. Now, Clinton Portis, usually a funny guy. You know, I'm sure you've caught clips of him on SportsCenter or wherever else. You know, he puts on the costumes, he does the characters when he talks to the media every week during the season. Funny stuff. Seems like a fun-loving fella, but he goes a little too far with having the fun. He apparently doesn't have any beef with Mike Vick having the dog fights. Take a listen.
I don't know if he was fighting dogs or not, but it's his property, it's his dog. If that's what he want to do, do it. You know, what people do behind closed doors.
But that's a felony. I mean, it's a crime.
It can't be too bad of a crime. You want to hunt down Michael Vick over fighting some dogs, you know, I think people should mind their business.
Yes, I like to shoot heroin into the ass of my new little 3-week-old baby. But that's my business. It's happening behind closed doors. So, you know, a felony, I don't care what you think of that. It's not your business. You know what, Clinton Portis? I got a new character for you. You got Southeast Jerome. You got Coach Yankee Spanky. Here's a new one for you. Jerk! Next. Now, Dan Rooney. You know, there are a lot of news about Alan Faneca, and they went to him, did KDKA earlier this week or late last week, to talk to him about what he thinks about Faneca. Of course, the family man, Rooney, the Steeler organization, still a family unit. He's concerned about his medical well-being, Alan Faneca. He's worried he's going to do himself some harm, so on and so forth. But KDK, rather than sending a sports reporter out to talk to him, as one would think you would do, they sent Ken Rice. I thought he was an anchor. You know, why wasn't that a good idea to do it? Take a listen.
Alan Faneca, considered one of the Steelers' best defensive linemen ever.
Ken Rice says that Alan Faneca is considered what? I'm sorry, say that again, Ken Rice?
Alan Faneca, considered one of the Steelers' best defensive linemen ever.
Well, unless Ken Rice has just discovered something that all of the sports reporters, not just in Pittsburgh, but nationally, have never figured out, that Alan Faneca somehow is also one of the great defensive linemen in Steeler history or in NFL history, unless he's a great investigative journalist. I think he's a dope. I'll tell you what, clearly, Ken Rice, you're not cut out to cover sports. On the bright side, I've got a brand new role for you. Jerk! All right, it's time now for the Jerk Hotline. As I say, I'm Sauron, the eye sees all, so on and so forth, but I still need a little help, just like Sauron with his Uruk-hai in Lord of the Rings. You know, he sends out his minions to go out and do his bidding. I have something called the Jerk Hotline, in which you can call in and nominate jerks. Now, we have a little something going on here. We need a Steeler expert for this show. I usually, if you've listened to the show before, my family and friends are used in various roles, whether it's a pirate expert, like my friends Richie and Irv do. I've got our hockey experts, our movie experts, so on and so forth. All my family and friends. The one spot that's still open, though, is Steeler expert. I would like for that to be filled by one of you people. So, we've gotten a number of candidates out there, and at some point soon, we're going to have a big competition for it. Anyway, we got a call from one of our front runners, Josh, to disparage another one of the candidates. Take a listen.
Hey, Dave. This is Josh from Charleroi. Giving me a call here, one of your prospective Steeler experts. My jerk of the week, I got to give it to the Ed, who thinks that he knows everything about Steelers. First of all, you come from Las Vegas. Second of all, you don't know how to say Roethlisberger. Third of all, you go ahead and you put down our ladies of our fine city by calling them prostitutely. Come on, man. There's no question about this, Dave. The Ed, he's a jerk.
Well, the Ed's going through some tough times. As a matter of fact, maybe we should try to check in with him at some point today or tomorrow and see how things are going for him. Now, the Ed, if you haven't heard him, last week, as a matter of fact, I guess we heard from him, unless Popeye, the producer, otherwise, he said that he had, on Tuesday last week, I guess it's a full week now, a woman he met in the park gave him a baby. She said, watch this baby for me for a little bit while I go and run an errand, and she just left and never came back. The baby was left with the Ed. He's a good guy. I think he's 50-something years old, just moved to the city of Pittsburgh. And, he got this baby, and now, or at least as of Friday, he still had not done anything with the baby and was sort of feeding it Mountain Dew and salsa and Tootsie Rolls and stuff like that. Unwise, of course. It's a 6-month-old kid. And anyway, so we should find out if the Ed, we really were trying to encourage him to take that baby to the proper authorities, but at least, like I say, as of Friday night, he hadn't done so yet. So anyway, hopefully that's, we need to find out what the status is on that. Anyway, all right, thanks for that call, and we'll see what's going on with that Steeler expert stuff later on. Anyway, the next person on the jerk list, or network, I should say, NBC. Why? Because they cut away from the Stanley Cup playoffs, the climactic game of the Wales Conference, the Buffalo Sabres forcing an overtime against the Ottawa Senators. The trip to the finals on the line. As they go to overtime, the game, NBC cuts away for what? Horse racing. Are you kidding me? NBC, horse racing's more important? What's next? The horse-faced women of the WNBA? Either way, I don't like it. You stay with the Stanley Cup playoffs. In the meantime, NBC National Broadcasting Company, here's a new name for you, Jerks! All right, always with this bitter pill that you're forced to swallow, you jerks and creeps, I do like to bring a little sugar to the proceedings. It's time for the Get Out of Jerk Free card. Of course, much like the Monopoly Get Out of Jail Free card, this goes to buy you out of any future jerky behavior. The first, we have 2 to give away, I'm pleased to report this week. First of all, breaking news, State Senator Sean Logan from Monroeville, he wants to change the way you can buy beer in Pennsylvania. It's pretty antiquated stuff. The way you can only buy a case of beer or 6-packs, 1 or 2 6-packs from taverns and such. Well, he's proposing that you be able to buy 3 6-packs. All right, it's not as much progress as I'd like to see. Why shouldn't you be able to buy as much beer when and how much and so on and so forth at any given time? Anyway, Sean Logan, you're trying to push things forward. You're trying to push us out of the 19th century, out of the 20th century, and into the 21st. And for that, you get the first Get Out of Jerk Free card. 2, I'll tell you what, we are on the cusp. Anaheim is playing Detroit tonight. They'll be hosting. The Ducks will be hosting those Wings. And should the Ducks pull it out, they will be playing the Ottawa Senators, a team from far northern Canada playing against apathetic Southern California hockey team, the Ducks. One thing you can say is you got to give credit to Gary Bettman and the Board of Governors in the NHL, because at least you can't accuse them of fixing games like people do the NBA and David Stern, right? Because that is a garbage final, and it's why the NHL is in so much trouble. So congratulations to you, Gary Bettman, for not fixing hockey games. All right, back to the jerks. The next jerk on the list, Gary Bettman. I'm sorry, you know what? In this case, you should have fixed it, you creep. Even if you didn't pull some strings to ensure Kid Crosby and company would advance, how could you let those two teams play? Well, no wonder no one watches the sport. No wonder NBC cuts away to watch horses run around a circle. Gary Bettman, you know what? Take a lesson from David Stern. You can be a curmudgeon all you want like he is. Just do me a favor. Stop being what you are. A jerk! All right, next. I said this before we went to commercial. I hate to do it. I think, globally, and sometimes I have to act locally, and it doesn't please me to do so. But the next person on the list, my lovely bride, Cindi. Why? Because I don't like when people leave. To me, the greatest lazy deed one can commit in our society. There are a lot of lazy things people do, selfish things, throwing their garbage out of windows, stuff like that, But here's the worst one of all, in my book. The laziest thing one can do is leave the microwave door open. You can open a microwave door, beep, 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 push your little buttons, heat up your stuff, then take out your heated food. How hard is it to push the door closed? It weighs nothing. Close the door. Listen, you're my bride. You're the mother of my lovely little child. But guess what, Cindi? I hate to say it. This week, you're also a jerk. All right, next person on the list. She's unfortunately Cindy's not the only person from my home to make the list. You see, I haven't been sleeping much, and so I've been out of sorts a bit. You may have noticed on the show. Here's the main reason why I haven't been sleeping so much. That's her. That's baby Lemieux. Baby Lemieux, there she is. All night that goes on. Sometimes she takes a break to poop herself. You see that? How could you not? It's heartbreaking. You got to go help her when she's doing that. But, of course, at the cost is sleep. Also, I said last night, she looks like, I couldn't figure out who she looks like for the longest time. Finally, I placed it over the weekend. You ever see the movie Total Recall? When they're up on Mars, Schwarzenegger's up on Mars, and he meets a guy who's a mutant, and he opens his shirt, and the sage of the mutants up on Mars, he comes out, and his name's Quado, and he says to Quaid, he's like, open your mind.
Open your mind. Open your mind.
There he is. That's Quado. That's who she looks like, baby Lemieux Crosby. She reminds me most of Quado, except with that crying. See, Quado doesn't cry like that, baby. Keeping me awake too long. Now, Popeye, be very careful. You're a marksman here. Yes, you are my assassin with the Han Solo Edition blaster, but with this one, just maybe nip her pinky toe or something like that. Ready, aim. Hate to say it, baby Lemieux, you're a jerk. Nice. Nicely done. I hope that just barely winged her. Barely winged her. All right. Should we press forward? We have only the creep of the week to go yet. You know what? Let's do it right now. It's time for the creep of the week.
Creep of the week, of the week. He or she is the creep of the week.
All right, I've been railing against this dope all season long, all television season long. The Bachelor. This season's officer, they call him the officer and a gentleman because he's a naval officer. But this scumbag has set our military back eons with his behavior, crying on TV about these strange women, his apparent homosexuality. At least that's what only way I can read it. Because listen, 25 relatively attractive women, but in this case, not all that many of them. There should have been foxier women on the show. But any of the few that were attractive, he kicked them to the curb. He didn't bed any of them, I don't think. I don't think he laid atop any of these women all season long. Why else be on the show? So that you can cut a swath through all these women. No, he kept dismissing all the other ones with his bizarre behavior. Like I say, I think he was gay, but he's very, sort of, uptight, I guess, is the best word for it. He's an officer and a gentleman, a military guy, button-down guy from Lancaster, PA. So further reason to dislike him for embarrassing our fair state. Here's a little sample of what a weirdo he is and what a weird house he comes from. He had the 2 finalists come over to the house last night, but just before they came over, he met with the family, and they all got together like a ball club, and they did this little cheer. Take a listen to it.
All right, let's show them what we're about. All right, bring it here, over here.
All right.
Come on. Operation Soulmate.
Yeah.
Ready? 1, 2, 3. Operation Soulmate! Begin.
You're a goofball.
You are a goofball. And a gay one at that. Operation Soulmate. Eek. What a nerd. All right. Then he finally chooses a woman. He chooses Tessa. I assume that very few of you have watched this show. I do it for you. I take the bullet for you people so you don't have to endure this garbage show. Anyway, he chooses Tessa. Relatively attractive, but a large woman. Bigger than he is, probably. She's a big woman, but like I say, not unattractive. Anyway, here's how he finally decides that he's sweet on her, how he expresses romantically his affection for this Tessa. Take a listen.
I freaking love you, you know that? Freaking love you. That is so awesome.
That is so awesome. Yes, she must have swooned when she heard that. Apparently she's still with him. Of course, these people never wind up married. That is so awesome. I freaking love you, dude. Anyway, that's what he says to the fellas he was in the Navy with. Anyway, he did have to cut a girl, Bevan. Sort of freaky, but in a way, sort of foxy, unorthodox, tattoos, long blonde hair. Not bad, but sort of loony on her own. Anyway, after he'd cut her, she was destroyed. And here's what he said to her. Take a listen to these parting words. Take a listen, fellas, because in case you ever break up with a woman, this is a great way to let her go.
I will never, ever forget you. Okay?
Yeah, you hear? That's not her, everybody. That is a military officer in the U.S. Navy crying about some woman who he barely knows. And by the way, I will never, ever forget you. Thanks a lot, fella. I just did a TV show with you for the last 4 months. I would hope you wouldn't forget me. Real lady killer, isn't he? And finally, then he sat down. Once she was gone, he sat down with the camera to share his heartbreak a little bit more. Take a listen to what he liked best about her.
Bettman, from the very beginning, I felt such a strong connection with. And as I've gotten to know her better, have developed so much respect for her.
Good Lord, man. You're crying again. This is, by my count, I haven't seen every minute of this show, but I believe he cried at least 4 times on this stupid show. About women that he doesn't know. And must I reiterate, he is in our military. Doesn't he know Benny Laden and the rest of the terrible towels are in their caves in Afghanistan laughing at us? Doesn't he know that they now see us and say, clearly we can defeat a nation that has military officers like him? He set us back more than I can even say. And by the way, I don't think he laid down with any of those women. Not a one of them, not even the one who he proposed to. I know what you're thinking, too, by the way. He's come up more than once here. In fact, it's his 3rd time on the list. That means Hall of Shame, right? Well, I debated it for a long time. He's going to be irrelevant by tomorrow if he isn't already, so I don't really want him in the Jerk Hall of Shame. Next, concerns about rape once he's in the Hall of Shame, you know? Greta Van Susteren, she's safe since she's a woman. But, I think that Barry Bonds and David Eckstein, their back ends could be in trouble. But like David Stern with Robert Horry's hip check last week, rules are rules. What's more, a powerful message needs to be sent to all you jerks. Around here, there is a zero-tolerance policy for your behavior. No exceptions. That's right, officer, gentleman, and jerk. You're not just the creep of the week. You're the newest member of the Jerk Hall of Shame. Bite it. Yeah, you're in all day, bub.
The Jerk List with Dave Dameshek. Until next time, don't be a jerk.
Yeah, don't be a jerk and stop embarrassing our country. Please go back wherever it goes. Put them in a submarine somewhere and drop them to the bottom of the ocean. Please, Navy.